Oh no, what is this? Reflection in my glasses. Oh no. Well, I'll do it without it. Happy New Year, everybody. 2018. And I hope y'all have your resolutions figured out. For all the ones that wants to have their butts and guts tight for the summer, good luck with that. For all the ones that want to help out in the community more power to you and good luck with that. If you're like me, and you're recycling the 2017 lists into 2018, it's all right, baby. We'll make it happen this year. This year is our year. Now, if your 2018 resolution is to read more books, look no further. Chocolate Reading, the YouTube channel talking about books written by brown and black authors. I have plenty of recommendation for you, and I start the year with a good one. A great one, an epic one, a massive one, Malcolm X.
That's good.
I wanted to get to MalcomX eventually, but I just didn't know when. Should I wait to Black History Month? But then I've read an article on Black Enterprise. The Shabba sisters, aka Malcolm X's daughter, are about to launch a clothing line honoring their fathers. So I thought, I took it as a sign and rolled with it. Let's Malcolm X be my first book talk for 2018. It took me a long time to actually decide to read this book, and the three main reasons were, well, one, I wanted to be able to, speak English good enough so I can understand the book. I didn't want to have no ill-translated version of it. And come to find out that the book is actually really accessible. One of my American friends read it when he was 13. And the second reason was I thought that Malcolm X book would be the type of book emotionally involved. So I thought that, okay, I would read the book and I was prepared that I would be angry towards all Caucasians for a week straight. And it wasn't actually true. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are like effed up part in it, and Malcolm X had some really radical views at some point in his life, but the book is filled with love and happiness and juice. And the third reason why I thought I wasn't in a rush to read the book is I've seen the movie, right? I've seen the movie. Spike Lee did a great job. And like a lot of people out there, I thought that, okay, watching the movie, it means that I know roughly what's in the book, right? Right? Excellent question. And now that I've read the book, I'm here to answer it. Is watching Malcolm X the same as reading his autobiography? Before I dive into comparing Malcolm X the book versus Malcolm X the movie, I just want my fellow readers out there to stop labeling movies adaptation of book they like as trash. Stop it. Especially you Harry Potter fans. Stop it. Okay, more seriously, I get it. It's really hard to give props to a movie adaptation of a book we like, because on a book, when you read it, you're free to give your own interpretations to word, you're free to choose how a character looks. Weren't we all disappointed, low-key, about the choice of Mr. Grey in 50 Shades of Grey? Like, what in the world? I don't want him to spank me, tie me down. Can I have a little Keanu Reeves, a little Tom Cruise, something else? Anybody else? Reading a book is making your own world of interpretations, and a movie is somebody else's interpretation forced upon you. So naturally, you're more inclined not to like it. But I personally have learned to, at the very least, respect the movie adaptations, because the hustle, the money, the hard work that goes behind making a movie is crazy. I made a short film once, and for one of my mass communication classes, it was so long and 10 years boy. So when people said that it was boring, I was hurt. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to give you a fair opinion in this battle, movie versus the book, and I hope you like it. To me, both the book and the movie divide Malcolm's life in 4 important parts. The first one is childhood. The second one is Detroit Red, referring to a hustling life, then the jail time, and then Malcolm X after the jail. So yes, the movie summarized the childhood really well, But I have to admit that the childhood of Malcolm X is what got me hooked to the book in the first place. I was fascinated by the relationship that his parents have. Like, boy, they were fighting and beating each other up all the time. But I don't know how, you can still see so much love and affection between them. Not to sound too cheesy, but I do feel like it was the negative outside and all the tension outside that was brought into their couple. But the love and affection between both of them was there. I also love the portrait of the mom. Okay, she was, and how she tried to move on after Earl died, but with new relationship, but she wasn't successful. Single motherhood, tough. You can see a lot of shades of systemic racism that are still a little bit in place today. As smart as Earl was by putting money on a side, on a bank, in a savings for his family to live off, just in case something happened to him. There was nothing left when Louis went to the bank and said, okay, where are the savings? The white people hated him so much that they murdered him and they robbed him. I think we would need a whole new movie to grasp the complexity of Malcolm X's childhood. The movie showed it a little bit, but to be honest, I was hungry for more. After the childhood, we have Detroit Red. Why do we call him Detroit Red? So this nickname comes from the fact that his mom was mixed, okay? So she was really, really light, and so she passed on those genes to Malcolm X, who also was really light, and with ginger highlights, natural ginger highlights. So that's why they call him Red. This part of his life, this is when he decides to leave the last foster home he was and go and live in Boston, where he acquires a lot of different jobs, shoe shining, selling sandwiches. So now he has his own money, he can do whatever he wants, up his swag up, go enjoy the nightlife. Then unfortunately, with the nightlife, he get introduced to the criminal world as well. And he moved from Boston and go to New York, Harlem, where he really now get involved on criminal activities. So even if the movie left out some hilarious moment from the book when it comes to this particular time of Malcolm X's life, like the details on how he actually dodged being recruited by the US Army, all the anecdotes that the prostitutes would tell him, that just show that even if some whites openly hated blacks, there were some that were addicted to black culture, fascinated by black culture. Even some had like sexual fetishism for black men and black women. Kind of forgave them, kind of not mentioning that, because some of those notions were alluded to through the relationship that Malcolm X had with his white girlfriend, Sophia Bea Karagulian, I believe. This part of Malcolm X's life is so juicy in the book. And I love the fact that it translated to a lot of dancing, a lot of music. I swear it was so vibrant that I swear in another life I must have been a musician or a dancer. I enjoyed that very much. I love the fact that they actually opened up the movie with Detroit Red and kind of centered the whole movie around Detroit Red. Let me put my glasses back. And in this part, the movie, yeah, it's okay, right? So yeah, so in this part, yeah, the movie also was really creative because they actually brought a lot of anecdotes that were not in the book. Good luck with that. For that scallywaggish part, okay, of Malcolm X's life, I give that point to the movie. Okay, so that's 1-1. The third part of Malcolm X's life was his time in jail and his introduction to the Nation of Islam. So because of all the criminal activities he was doing in New York, he got sentenced to 8 to 10 good years in jail. He got released after 6, right? The book made me feel that him being receptive to the Nation of Islam had a lot to do with his childhood. Like, he was meant to be an intellectual, best grades, ambitious, and I would have loved for the movie to tie him being able to learn the entire dictionary in jail to him being originally a gifted kid. I would have also loved for the movie to give us more detail about him being in a debate team in prison. And I don't know, and maybe be super creative and make him, indirectly answer to that evil teacher that told him that he could never be a lawyer. Because Malcolm X became more than that, more than a lawyer. On the prison part, My vision, if you ask me, okay, my vision would have been more debates, really see him forging his view through Elijah Muhammad, flashbacks on his childhood to really understand the person that was just smart from the beginning, less tirades and less monologues from his jail friend that also was in the Nation of Islam. Spoiler here, his friends will become super corrupt at the end as well. So yeah, if you're interested in Malcolm X jail time, hands down, read the book. So that's 2-1 for the book. I really loved him in a movie. For a few reasons, I know you can feel, I know. I feel your confusion. How can someone prefer a third-party interpretation of Malcolm X rather than his own testimony about who he is? But let me explain. First, when I read Malcolm X, I just picture him as being somebody really rather discreet in public, quiet, and who loved to listen. To me, he was the perfect son that anybody would want to have as an understudy, and that's why I feel like he could be anywhere, work around white folks, in a nightclub, the ladies, and later on affiliated with West Indian Archie, who was kind of a big boss of some criminal activities in New York. And I would even go a bit further, and maybe you think that I'm reaching here, but to me, Malcolm X, in the book, how I see it, was the perfect son who missed his dad. And that's why he was so attached to Elijah Muhammad. And that's why he got so receptive about when Elijah Muhammad came to him. He was kind of a father figure for him. However, I believed and loved how Denzel Washington, okay? It's really hard as a producer to go wrong when you cast a Denzel, okay? A Denzel. When you have a Denzel in your roster, okay, there is no little thing can go wrong. So here's straight up A's on the casting. And I loved his Denzel interpretation of Malcolm X as being bold and arrogant and thirsty to lead. He was in criminal activities. It's okay. I've rolled with it. It's not how I saw it, but I rolled with it and I bought it. Good job. Then I also love that even if the book, let's say Malcolm X had some really harsh words towards our gender, okay? Some people might have thought he was borderline misogynistic, but the movie just showed how much he loved his wife. Writing to her everywhere he goes, calling her everywhere he goes and all the time, and that's the respect right there. When men nowadays would find 1,000 excuses just to not send fuse only a simple WhatsApp text message. But I digress. You know what? We'll talk about this another day. I actually loved that. I loved how the movie portrayed the love Malcolm X had for his wife. It was really, really well. Actually, I think he actually dedicated his book to his wife. Yeah, this book I dedicate to my beloved wife, Betty, and our children, whose understanding and whose sacrifices made it possible for me to do my work. My last point when it comes to preferring the movie, when it comes to the depiction of Malcolm X, is that we have a 360-degree view on Malcolm X. In the book, Malcolm X gave us how he feels. But the movie, I imagine the crew had to talk to people that know Malcolm X, journalists, families, friends that have maybe details about his persona that he might not have been aware of at the time. I'm really grateful for the movie for that, and just for the simple fact that they were even able to reenact his assassination. Respect like that. So with another point for the movie, I think we have a draw. It's a draw. Hey. So we need a clear winner here. So I just have one question then for Spike Lee. Who in your team decided to cut Ella out of the movie? Well, tell them they're fired. So for the ones who don't know, Malcolm X had a lot of brothers and sisters, but he shared his dad as well with a lot of stepbrothers and stepsisters. What do we say, half brothers and half sisters in this case? In the bunch of stepbrothers and stepsisters, whatever, there was Ella. And I can help to think of her as just more of an auntie, because basically when Louise, Malcolm X's mom, became ill, she basically became the mother figure for Malcolm X. She was the one that called him and said, okay, how is cool? Are you sure you have good grades? Good job. She was the one he decided to go live with when he left his last foster home to go to Boston. She is the one he turned to when he was broke and that the Nation of Islam turned his back on him and said, you know what? Ella, I need to go to the Mecca. And she just say, how much? How are you gonna cut? Like the Mecca. She's the one who bought his ticket to the Mecca. His ticket to the Mecca. The Mecca is the place where he actually healed himself. That's where he learned everything he knows. That's where he came back and was like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna step aside the Nation of Islam and just follow my own principles. Okay, and create my own principles. How are you gonna cut her like that? You can't. No, you can't do. I'm sorry, no. Ella was by far my favorite character in the book. She held her on with a nice job. She kicked out 3 husbands because she just believed they were no good to her. And yeah, she was just such a strong black woman. She was kind of an Afro-feminist long before the Afro-feminist term was coined. So definitely for that one, I would have to give this battle and then the war to the book. Yay! The book wins the war. I have watched, the movie, the 3 hours long Spike Lee movie about Malcolm X, and it went like this, I ain't gonna lie. I have read the 500 pages book with the little writings, okay? And I'm not even a fast reader, but it went like this. I read it so fast, I couldn't even believe myself. So it's just a proof that both are actually really good. But the book wins the war, therefore you have to read it. Link is on the description. The autobiography of Malcolm X is full of diamonds with a lot of stories that link back to historical context all around the world. You can also get to see what really happened to the Mecca. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it wasn't all fun and game. The book is rich but not heavy, and it is a must read, guys. Okay, that's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, give it a thumb up. Put on the comment section, you know, if you read the book. I want to know your thoughts about the book. I want to know your thoughts about the movie, if you've seen it, and if you did both, what do you think? Which one should have won the battle? Yeah, and then obviously, hey, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. All right, that's it for me, guys. Bye. Thanks for watching. Chocolate reading. Bye bye.